Welcome to Official Sigma Male, where we uncover the hidden tactics that separate true Sigma males from the common pack. In today's video, we're diving deep into the art of psychological warfare, something every Sigma has mastered through years of careful observation and strategic thinking. The average person plays checkers, while you're about to learn how to play 4D chess. Most men waste their energy on direct confrontation, exhausting themselves in pointless battles that could have been won before they even began. Today, you'll discover why the greatest victories often come without your enemies even realizing they've lost. Get ready to elevate your strategic thinking to levels that will leave others questioning their reality. Chapter 1. The Shadow Protocol. The first rule of psychological warfare is maintaining absolute control over your information flow. Every Sigma male understands that information is currency in today's world, and controlling it means controlling the game. The most powerful move you can make is to become strategically invisible while maintaining perfect visibility of your opponent's movements. Consider how intelligence agencies operate. They don't broadcast their strategies, they let others make assumptions. Your enemies can't counter what they can't understand, and they can't understand what they can't see. This isn't about hiding, it's about selective visibility. Like a master chess player, you're always 3 moves ahead, but your opponents only see the piece you want them to see. Think of yourself as a black hole. Others can observe your presence, but they can never truly understand your nature. The key is to master the art of strategic silence. When others expect you to speak, remain quiet. When they expect silence, strike with precision. This unpredictability creates a psychological edge that few can handle. Watch how your opponents start second-guessing themselves, trying to figure out your next move while you're already executing your endgame. The beauty of the Shadow Protocol lies in its simplicity. You're hiding in plain sight. While others broadcast their every move on social media and seek validation through constant communication, you're gathering intelligence, analyzing patterns, and identifying weaknesses. Your silence becomes your strength. Your mystery becomes your weapon. Chapter 2. Mental Manipulation Mastery. The art of mental manipulation isn't about crude deception. It's about understanding the psychological triggers that drive human behavior. Every Sigma male knows that people's actions are driven by their deepest insecurities and desires. By understanding these underlying motivations, you gain unprecedented control over any situation. This isn't about being malicious. It's about being strategic. True power lies in making others believe they're making their own choices while they're actually following your carefully laid path. Think of yourself as an architect of circumstances rather than a direct manipulator. The key is subtlety. The best mental manipulation happens without anyone realizing they're being influenced. Your enemies become your unwitting allies. The Sigma male understands that confusion is a powerful tool when used correctly. By presenting multiple possible interpretations of your actions, you force your opponents to waste energy trying to decipher your true intentions. Meanwhile, you're free to execute your real strategy without interference. This is how you turn your enemies' analytical abilities against them. Remember, the goal isn't to break people. It's to redirect their energy in ways that benefit your objectives. Like a skilled martial artist, you're using your opponent's momentum against them. The more they try to figure you out, the deeper they fall into your strategic web. Chapter 3. The Chaos Strategy. In the realm of psychological warfare, controlled chaos is your greatest ally. The Sigma male understands that patterns make you predictable, and predictability makes you vulnerable. By introducing calculated elements of chaos into your interactions, you create an environment where only you know the true path forward. This isn't random disruption, it's strategic destabilization. Your enemies expect logic and reason because that's what they've been trained to counter. But when you operate outside conventional patterns while maintaining internal consistency, you create a type of psychological vertigo in your opponents. They can't prepare for what they can't predict. The key is to maintain your own stable center while everything around you spins. Level up your game by mastering the art of strategic inconsistency. One day you're completely analytical, the next you're purely intuitive. This keeps your opponents off balance, forcing them to constantly revise their understanding of you. While they're adjusting their strategies, you're already 3 steps ahead. Think of yourself as a living paradox, consistent in your inconsistency. Your ability to thrive in chaos while others crumble under uncertainty becomes your signature strength. It's not about being random. It's about being systematically unpredictable. Each seemingly chaotic move is actually part of a larger strategy that only you can see. Chapter 4. Information Warfare. The modern battlefield isn't physical, it's informational. Every Sigma male must master the art of information warfare. This means not just controlling the flow of information, but actively shaping how that information is interpreted. Think of yourself as a master storyteller, where every piece of information you release or withhold serves a specific purpose. Your enemies will try to gather intelligence about you, but what they find should be carefully curated. Release information that supports your objectives while maintaining enough ambiguity to keep them guessing. The goal is to create a maze where all paths lead to your desired outcome. Your digital footprint becomes your weapon. Strategic disinformation isn't about lying. It's about creating multiple layers of truth that serve your purposes. Like a skilled illusionist, you're not showing them false information, you're showing them real information in a way that leads to the conclusions you want them to draw. The power lies in suggestion rather than direct deception. In this age of information overload, your ability to control and direct the narrative becomes increasingly powerful. Remember, it's not about the quantity of information you release, but the quality and timing of its release. Every piece of information should serve multiple purposes. Chapter 5. Psychological Time Manipulation. Time is a psychological construct, and the Sigma male knows how to manipulate its perception. By controlling the pace and timing of your actions, you can create psychological pressure or relief at will. This isn't about actual time management. It's about managing how others experience time in relation to your actions. Learn to use strategic delays and sudden accelerations to keep your opponents off balance. When they expect quick action, make them wait. When they're settled in for a long game, strike quickly. This temporal manipulation creates anxiety and uncertainty in your enemies, while giving you complete control over the situation's rhythm. The key is understanding that humans are naturally uncomfortable with temporal uncertainty. By disrupting their sense of timing, you create a psychological advantage that few can counter. Think of yourself as a conductor, controlling the tempo of every interaction. Your timing becomes a weapon that few understand how to defend against. Every response, every action, every silence should be precisely timed for maximum impact. This isn't just about being unpredictable, it's about creating a rhythm that serves your purposes while destabilizing your opponent's ability to respond effectively. Chapter 6. The Mirror Technique. The most sophisticated form of psychological warfare involves turning your enemy's strengths into weaknesses. The Sigma male understands that every strength, when pushed to its extreme, becomes a vulnerability. Like a mirror, you reflect their own patterns back at them until they begin to doubt their own strategies. This technique requires deep observation and understanding of your opponent's psychology. Study their patterns, understand their preferred tactics, then use modified versions of these same approaches against them. The beauty of this method is that they can't criticize your approach without criticizing their own. The mirror technique works because people are blind to their own tactics when used against them. They've spent so much time justifying their methods that they struggle to counter them effectively. Think of yourself as a psychological martial artist, using your opponent's momentum against them. Their own force becomes their undoing. When executed properly, the mirror technique creates a form of psychological paralysis. Your enemies find themselves unable to attack without contradicting their own established patterns and beliefs. This creates an internal conflict that few are equipped to resolve. Chapter 7. The Ultimate Power Move. The greatest power move in psychological warfare is the ability to walk away without explanation. The Sigma male understands that sometimes the most devastating strategy is to simply remove yourself from the equation, leaving your enemies to deal with the uncertainty of unresolved situations. This isn't retreat, it's strategic advancement. Walking away creates a psychological vacuum that others rush to fill with their own assumptions and fears. While they're busy trying to understand your departure, you're free to execute your next moves without interference. The key is to make your exit appear both deliberate and mysterious. Never explain, let them wonder. This technique works because humans are naturally uncomfortable with unresolved situations. By removing yourself without closure, you create a persistent psychological tension that few can handle effectively. Your absence becomes more powerful than your presence. Think of yourself as a ghost. Your influence continues long after you've left the scene. The ultimate power move isn't about winning the current battle. It's about transcending the need for battle entirely. By mastering the art of strategic departure, you create a reputation that does the heavy lifting for you. Your mere presence becomes a psychological trigger that others learn to respect and fear. As we wrap up this strategic masterclass here at Official Sigma Male, remember that true psychological warfare isn't about destruction, it's about control. The techniques you've learned today aren't just tactics, they're tools for reshaping reality itself. You now possess knowledge that puts you leagues ahead of the average player in the game of life. Don't let this knowledge sit idle. Start implementing these strategies immediately, but remember, the true Sigma male plays the long game. Your newfound understanding of psychological warfare will serve you for years to come. Hit subscribe now and activate those notifications to ensure you don't miss our next advanced strategy session. The Sigma Brotherhood is waiting for you.